And welcome back, everyone, to the Bitcoin Business Bureau. I'm your host, as always, LitecoinLeader. It's Wednesday. That means it's ride along day. Shades are on because it's somewhat bright. I might be changing the shades, we'll see. But it's an interesting overcast day here in Myrtle Beach. It looks to be the high 70s. Beautiful day heading into Memorial Day weekend. It's just a couple days away, which means June is next week, which is crazy to think about. But I'm going to give you a little bit of insight on the life of a YouTuber and what it's like to be a crypto influencer, if I can even call myself that. I think I can. I've been here for over a year, been in space for over 6 years, maybe 7 now, who's counting. But it's some days are more interesting than others. Well, got lawn maintenance going on across the street, so I'll close the window for now. Let's see, I can take these off for a moment, so let me just talk to you for a minute. So, a little bit of insight. I was up late last night, so the shades are probably going to stay on. So last night was a big night. It was a big expectation for DIVI, and then there were talks about information coming out overnight because they are big in La Liga, and La Liga had a not a Premier League, but they had a marquee matchup last night in Sydney, Australia, which it was these got to go back on. It was big. I'll get to that in a moment. So I'm going to talk about DIVI. I'm going to talk about a second country making a Bitcoin island or a crypto island. And if I've got time, which I might, there's no time limit, so I'll get into some real estate stuff too. But let me give you some insight on what my last 12 to 24 hours was like. So I knew the big things were coming for DIVI overnight. And I talked to DIVI Daddy, and I've actually reached out to The Voice. I'm waiting to hear from him. I'm trying to put together another DIVI special episode so we can have a discussion about it. But I knew big things were coming out for DIVI, so I stayed up late last night. I knew the game that they played in Sydney last night kicked off at 6 a.m. East Coast time. So I had choices. I could either try and wake up early and watch that game, or I could stay up and see what happens and then go to sleep and then just watch the highlights. I chose option 2. My former heavily sports self many years ago probably would have watched the game. I watched the highlights, I will admit that. It actually was a very entertaining game. It was a close game. I won't give out the result if you don't want to know, but it was a friendly matchup between, I think it was the Australian All-Stars, or the Australian League All-Stars, and Barcelona's team. And Barcelona, they were on short rest. They flew out after their season basically ended like Sunday, and then they hopped on a plane. They landed in Sydney on Monday, and it was they set a record. I think they set like the longest flight that's chartered from Barcelona and I think they stopped somewhere. I don't know what island it was for a refuel, but they made it all the way to Sydney in about 24 hours, and it was a large aircraft, and they had to be. It's 24 hours in a plane is a long, long time, and a tube in the middle of the air. And then they played basically a day and a half later. So normally soccer players like to take a week. Most professional athletes that play a high-intensity sport like football or soccer, they like to take as long as they can to recuperate. And 2 games a week is a lot. Now, normally they only like to do 1. Baseball's different pace of game. Basketball is like basketball and hockey somewhere in between. But I digress on the sports aspect. But it was a very entertaining game, back and forth, many lead changes and lots of scoring. So I think if you want to check the highlights out, it's worth it. But DIVI was the star of the show last night, and I had to stay up to see what was going on, and I knew big things were coming because I've been following Nick Saponara, I've been following DIVI Daddy, I've been following the DIVI project, and I figured what it was the launch of the new wallet. Now, I'm not going to go into the details of the wallet, and there comes an ambulance, so that's going to be fun, but the wallet looks to be everything that we wanted and more. 270 coins, or 270 tokens that you can exchange. eDIVI is available. You've got I think you've got the fiat on and off ramp. I have not downloaded it yet. Again, short sleep, short rest. But I've been following like the videos and everything, so I will be doing that and playing with it before I talk to DIVI Daddy and The Voice. Hopefully Friday night. We'll see how that plays out. But I'm working on that. So that's story number 1. So the game was good. The release is better. DIVI is spiking up overnight. They've been depressed. So it looks like, not financial advice, but it looks like it's in a good spot to rally back up. It's somewhere in the 4-cent range now. We were just in the 6s and 7s last month. So we know what happened in the crypto winter that kind of set in for the last several weeks. So, but DIVI's rebounding nicely. It is a Wednesday and sun's poking out. Let's see. So we'll stick with these sunglasses for now. So that's story number one. Other insight, okay? Other insight, little background. As an influencer and as a YouTuber with, like, I know I'm going to do shows 4 to 5 times a week minimum. I don't necessarily always know what's going to be on the show. So often what I'll do is I'll look around at the articles, I'll look around, I'll watch different influencers, watch different media sources, and try to put my own things together. But one of my favorite things to do right now is to just go through Instagram, and I follow 50 to 100 accounts. I have no idea what the number is, but I have like their stories, and I just watch what happens to their stories. And some of them are positive affirmations, which I share, which are important as well. But there's also like what's going on in crypto, what's popular, what's coming up. And then Nick made a video about this being a big day, and it's the equivalent of retweeting it on Instagram. I think I reposted his story or shared his story, and then he shared mine. So like it's a big deal. They're trying to get a lot of media out there. There's PR work going. So DIVI is going to be a big player based on what's happening with this launch. So keep that in mind. So I didn't know that what story else I was going to find today. So DIVI is going to be a big one. The other one that I wanted to share, which I didn't see this coming, but I've been talking about these third world countries and adoption of crypto. The Central African Republic is the other country that's out there that's been in the news, and they just announced that they're doing an island project. I think it's called Sango. I might get that a little bit wrong, but I think it's Sangro. And again, go on my Instagram, follow it. I think I share good stuff. Let me know. But follow me on Instagram. It's LitecoinLeader. Pretty easy to remember. And go look and see what I post on my stories and some of my posts each day. It's pretty entertaining. Sometimes I'll remember to share a video. Sometimes I won't. But for me, it's just to get my name out there and share some information and also get some content to share with you guys. So now we're going to dig into the African country, Central African Republic, that's creating this project called Sango or Sangro. I don't know. I just wrote it. Again, a little bit out of sleep, so just bear with me here. But they are creating an island, and the news is pretty light on this so far, but they're going to create an island based on Bitcoin. I assume that's what the economics is going to be. And this reminded me of a story about a month ago. So I went digging, and I remember the country, Vanuatu, because I used to watch Survivor, and that name stuck in my mind as an interesting name of an island out in the middle of the Pacific. Well, Vanuatu launched Satoshi Island project last month. So now we have 2 different projects that are launching out there for crypto islands, and it's going to be interesting. We're looking for, I think we're looking to get towards, I don't want to say isolationist spots, but I think we're looking to get to places like a citadel or like a refuge locations for Bitcoiners. Places that you can go that like the economy is right, it's built on sound fundamentals, which is Bitcoin or other cryptos, and that's the path forward. So it's interesting to see that this is the development. I'm going to pause. Well, I don't know how long this recording is going to go, so I'm going to just keep rolling. So I'm actually on my way over to the grocery store. It's Wednesday, it's sushi day, so I'm going to pick that up. So I may have more to say afterwards, who knows? So I posted on Instagram today both the link to the Vanuatu Island project and also the Sangro or Sango project for Central African Republic. Also remember the other 44 countries that met with President Bukele of El Salvador. I think it was last week or week before, probably 2 weeks ago now. So things are definitely moving about that third world, and I'm going to keep harping on that. Like the third world is going to lead this path because their people need to be, they're unbanked. They need a better financial system and an economic system, and Bitcoin offers that. So keep an eye on other countries and what they're stating as opposed to all the CBDC and regulation nonsense coming from the Western world. And Davos is there, and there's going to be plenty of stories right now as people are meeting in Davos and talking. But that's mostly for Western world people and people that are with central banks and CBDCs. They're talking about regulation and legislation. Meanwhile, third world countries are actually doing things in crypto. So that's the first two stories. And then the third one, which I guess I'll do it. Excuse me. So, well, first, let me interject and mention that tonight is Wednesday. So that's AMA night. So AMA night tonight, it's going to be my Patreons only. I will probably also share it with CryptoConfidential to boost the audience, get them some visibility to what I do over there as well. But just give them some aspect of like just another place for the conversation, because I think the conversation goes better with a bigger audience. So, but not to slight my Patreons, and I appreciate everything you do there, but I think CryptoConfidential, their price of admission is already paid. So that'll be tonight. That'll probably be at 8 o'clock Eastern. I still have to set that up after I get back from the grocery store. But the third thing I wanted to mention today is real estate, and that market is it's starting to turn. And I started to post things, and people are starting to notice that less houses are being sold, prices aren't going up as fast. Days on market is going up. So real estate is getting tighter. Mortgages actually trickled back down, and that surprised some people. I think it was on Lisa's show on Monday, and she hadn't heard that yet. But it's you've got to stay on the pulse of all these things, because everybody thinks that they're looking for these safe havens. Where is it safe to put my money while everything else is moving down? Stock market's going down, crypto's moving down, bonds are falling apart. Is real estate still safe? Is precious metals even went down a little bit? So where can I put my money? And I didn't get a chance to check the DXY. I was going to check that this morning. Let me check that in a moment. We'll pause here and check it. Okay, I did just check the DXY, and yes, I'm stopped now, so it's safe. But the DXY is well over 100, and that's a big number for the dollar. That the DXY, or the Dixie, is a measure of the dollar against other fiat currencies, and it's over 100 right now. It's an index. It's not a fair comparison. The number doesn't really mean anything. It's all a relative scale. So, but over 100 is a big number, which means the dollar has gotten very, very strong compared to other currencies. So that's been one of the other flights to safety, is just cash. And people are just storing cash on the side and trying to figure out what to do with it, because they see all these markets going down quickly. But inflation is the hidden cost on that money being in cash, because it's losing money in being in cash. So it's a tough answer. So a lot of people have been heading towards real estate, but real estate is now showing signs of decline with sales and whatnot. So it's a tough market right now. It's a tough economy, and we're basically, you got to tear it all down to build it back up. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this all comes together. Let me check my third page of notes here as I watch people drive way too slow in the left lane. So yeah, the real estate, we can talk about this in the AMA. We can talk about all these different stories in the AMA. I'm just giving you insight on what I do. I knew that this was a good day for news and doing a video, because I couldn't even get it all through my Instagram stories because of so much stuff was being posted, which is great. I mean, some of it is positive affirmations, which are good to share, and some of it is just, people sharing whatever. I'd say 1 out of 5 is a decent crypto story. That's probably high, maybe 1 out of 10. But there was a lot posted today, and there were even some stories I hadn't heard about yet, which I'll probably cover tomorrow or talk about tonight. So I just wanted to talk about DIVI. Expect the DIVI show coming up soon. I'm also talking to Daniel soon about setting up a Theta show. Eventually I'll get around to Papa Joe and doing something with Matic. So stay tuned for all that. The other countries developing islands and metaverses and real estate based on the Bitcoin economy, that's pretty significant. Let's see what that trend leads towards. I also wanted to mention this, and I know that if you stuck with me this far, thank you. This has been a longer video. If you have, give me a hashtag. Give me a comment. People don't leave enough comments. It really helps if the video leave a comment too. I know people like seeing the live premiere or whatnot, but a comment also helps. Smash the likes, share, subscribe, all that stuff helps the channel. I appreciate that. But give me a hashtag AMA tonight, since I got the AMA. So hashtag AMA, and let me know your thoughts about the first two stories, both about the DIVI wallet. What do you think? Do you want to see the DIVI show with myself and the voice and Patrick, DIVI Daddy? And third, what are your thoughts on these island projects? I'd love to hear your feedback on that. And we'll talk more about real estate. I'm sure I'll have more to talk about tomorrow, but sometimes it's tough to come up with stories on days when news is slow. Today was not one of those days. So I'm actually kind of paring down the videos longer because there's so much to talk about. In fact, I had to stop and get rolling for the day. It was just too much to cover. So then you'll have days like that. So lastly, a movie to watch. If you stayed this far, I wanted to share a movie that you might want to go and check out. It's a movie, I don't know how old it is. It's probably at least 10 years old. It's a movie called Out of Time. And I think Justin Timberlake and the guy who was in White Collar and Magic Mike, I can never remember that dark-haired guy's actor. He's a good-looking guy. But they were both in it. It's a good movie. And the idea is similar to creating these utopian locations in a dystopian environment. So I guess it would be extropian. There you go, LitecoinLeader, working that new word of ours in. That's the opposite of dystopia, is extropia. We learned that from a guest over at the Veritasium DAO a couple weeks ago. Anyway, it's a good movie, Out of Time. The currency that these people use is actual time. And so instead of think of sats, you think of seconds. And they have clocks on their arms. And each day they have to go work. And you see people working and trying to get enough clock. And before the clock hits 0, and they expire. So that's interesting. But the wealthy have had these citadel cities where they can gamble with time. They have plenty of time. That is their currency. And it's a very interesting commentary on society, and also an interesting commentary on the economy. So think of, and as you watch the movie, which I may watch it again, it's a really good movie, think of the time, think of the seconds as if they're sats. So something to think about. All right, I've said a lot, and I will be talking to several of you, I hope, tonight on the AMA at 8 o'clock Eastern. The link will be on my Patreon. I'll also share it on the CryptoConfidential Telegram. So look forward to that. Look forward to speaking to you later tonight. Maybe I'll have more thoughts and do more recording on the way home. But for now, I'm going to close the door on the bureau, say follow the leader, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.